live. Welcome back to Skulls and Shackles Week 24. We're broadcasting to you, Twitch, and also to you, YouTube Gaming, and my recent attempted experiment at doing this, so we'll see how well that goes. Of course, it would help if I turned on the volume for those watching on YouTube so they didn't just see my lips moving. So, yeah, Week 24, YouTube Gaming, there we go. It should be better now. Excellent. It's also the 1-year anniversary of Skulls and Shackles, which has technically had 30 sessions if you include Plunder and Peril. So yeah, we've met roughly 3/5 of the year. Pretty decent. Yeah, no shit. I'm going to be throwing into all of the chats the link for this week's The Daily Bard, which I owe everyone. Yes. Just so you can look it over while we do introductions. If you're watching at home, you'll find it in the video description. If I've done this right, everything should be there. There's Roll20. There's that. And let me throw it up for you YouTube folks. Boom. Okay. I've had a crazy week of playing Shadowrun Dragonfall, but if you've been, or Hong Kong, but if you've been following me all week, you already know my secret pains at not being able to do shit vis-a-vis getting horribly wrecked in the decking realm. I will attempt again to conquer this realm on Thursday. Dan, how have you been doing since, I feel Tuesday. Like something happened on Tuesday. Oh yeah, you guys actually finished the book. It took 6 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah. Took weeks and weeks to get the thing.
And what's nice is it's right around another 10 episode arc, which keeps in with the theory of 10 episodes equals new storyline plus new player base. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been going. That theory is surprisingly accurate for this show. Right around episode 10 on King Arthur Pendragon, everybody died. So. And here, every 10 episodes, we usually finish off a book, and the characters have new relationships with each other. Anyway, how was that episode of Jade Regent, and how have you been since then?
That episode of Jade Regent was actually pretty nice. We finished off the book. We had a little bit of time to spare leading into book 3. Mostly, in the week since, I've just been gearing up to head back to New York and finish off my final requirements so that I can get a diploma in December.
Yeah. Get
so,
that paper.
Yeah,
congrats
accommodations. Thank you. Accommodations
really
are probably going to be rough because I'm running out of money. So I'm going to have to stay with relatives, and they don't have internet in their place. So if I'm going to come here, I'm probably going to be hanging out in a private room in the library, which is good and bad because they close at 2 a.m. on weeknights, but on Sundays they close at 11. So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Work it out.
Yeah. All right. Craig, how have you been this week?
Pretty good, decent week. No drama, low stress. Can't beat it. Not a whole lot going on other than that.
All right. Well, that was really short.
Can't seem to stay awake. And I slept in this morning.
Adam, how are you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. Just started graduate school. Went back to college for the first time in 10 years. And let me tell you, graduate school has a lot more homework than anticipated compared to undergrad. So it's like a lot of reading, a lot of papers. But it's all good. I need it. I needed to kind of progress my career a little more. But yeah, so other than that, that's kind of the big excitement. What else is going on? Nothing much. Nothing much at the homestead. We finished our remodel, which was nice. That's 2 months of inconvenience that I'm glad it is over. But excited to play. Interested to see this this next upcoming future battle. Revenge on the Orc Wizard.
Vakarla? Yeah, we'll see how that goes down. Getting a shout out in chat, Adam. Of course, it's in YouTube gaming chat, so you're not there, Paul. But Venture Captain Jesse Davis of the Pathfinder Society wishes you good luck.
Oh,
So Davis, I
thanks.
say hi, and I'm sorry I kept messing up things. He knows.
He knows. He knows. Dom, how have you been?
My head boss at my old pharmacy came back, and they're like, Dominic, we want you to come back to a home pharmacy. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I went to one of the side pharmacies on the other side of town. It's like half the work, and I'm like, psh, half the work and the same pay. I think I'm going to stay over here, man. And I get morning shifts.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Nice.
Man, where was this? Adam, did I send you that comment that someone wrote about you?
You did. I appreciated that.
I think it was Luke Glasshauer. Not to call him out, Luke Glasshauer, the guy currently going through every single episode of Skulls and Shackles and leaving a comment on all of them. Apparently, is an Adam fan. Or, well, more correctly, he's a Novardi fan, but of course Novardi is long dead. But by the time he gets here, he will know that Novardi's long dead. I just didn't want to tell him that in the past, because then things get weird.
Funny enough, I was talking to my group about Novardi and how we did this scenario at the bottom of the book thing, the boat thing, and how Novardi murdered those guys.
Yeah.
And it actually became a verb.
Yeah, Novardian.
He just got Novardi last night. It was deep.
Yeah.
He was fun. He was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed his story arc.
He was a crazy fool.
Yep. People.
All right. Anyone have any questions about them there, Daily Bard?
No, looks good.
Oh, we got Daily Bard.
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's in all of the chats
Simultaneously.
It is a superposition of chats. All right, I'm going to mark us down as introductions are over. Again, if you skipped introductions because you clicked the link at the beginning of the video, check the video description below for a link to the Daily Bard, which you may not have ever seen before because I haven't done them in a while because they're a ton of work. Of course, Dan and Craig will be seeing it again because I'm going to keep the exact same one for Jade Regent. Change nothing. I think doing one a week is better than doing like 4 in 1 week for, you know, once a month. I feel like that's steadier. Alright. My recollection of what happened last time is that you got caught up in a horrible illusion, ended up murdering a bunch of people, lost a fight, ran away. Someone died, you brought them back to life by taking them to an Imperial Dragon on Dragon Island, also known as the Hawk Island. That dragon told you he didn't want money from you, and then after you repeatedly begged him for stuff and would not agree to any of their terms, he was like, okay, I'll take money from you, but only if you take my grandson. So you now have a Wyvern on your ship.
I like to make one comment.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I remember it. They were running away from us.
Yeah, they left.
She was at 1 HP.
Didn't you guys leave the boat?
She was on our boat, and she left our boat after brutally beating the crap out of us. So it was a mutual, like, hey, you want to die, and we don't want to die, so we're just going to part ways. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Okay, well, you have a Night Wyvern who hangs out on the poop deck of the boat. His name is Distfodun Yuvan, and he insists on being called his full name.
Okay.
Distfon Vudan.
No. I'm going to put it there in the chat for you.
So basically,
Distfodun.
So insert, put NPC on side till next book. Because you know how this works, right? We don't talk to NPC till the book afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, we forgot your day, and then we start interacting with them.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Wow.
Okay, I love Hero Lab. I can actually make notes. And they don't disappear on my character sheet.
Do I not have a noise gate set up for YouTube? My bad, YouTube. Holy shit. I don't know why I it's not closing the gate? Make sure I got my settings right. Anyone have anything to add in that regard before we get started?
Dragon buddy.
Buddy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll keep him. I'll keep him a little company, like for right before nightfall.
Okay.
Every night, just kind of
I mean,
10 minutes
he's not
of banter.
So let's have the first night of that, because you're
Okay.
sailing back to a certain island, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. That island is Vikarla's hidden outpost, west of Dahak's Fang, south of the area where she laid those traps for you. So you go to speak to Distfodo Yunva, and he's just hanging out on the back of the boat, reading a Daily Bard. Hashtag Daily Bard. And he actually has like little spectacles, and just kind of looks at you like,
Mm-hmm.
You speak Draconic?
I do not.
Okay, so yeah, he like turns towards you, and he says, "Dremyor Yuk." He takes one of his dragony talons and adjusts his.
In common, I reply, "Good evening to you too. I would like to ask you a couple questions, if I may."
Yeah, so he kind of like uplifts his snout and looks down his snout at you, and says, "Zudre nigulum dimar wat hinvach hinubak tinvuk."
Well,
Then he turns around and like whips his tail up. So his tail is like a cat's tail; it's constantly moving. But it seems he, as a wyvern, he can use the stinger on the end of it. So yeah, like he turns away from you and then raises the stinger up over his head like a scorpion tail, and just basically ignores you, and kind of sits as proud as a lion looking out over the sea behind the boat.
Okay, so he basically turned his back on me and then raised his stinger at me.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, not at you. He raised it towards him, which is facing out over the boat.
Okay. I'm not gonna try to invite any more hostility, so I'm just gonna call that good for a day, and I'll try again tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm probably in the crow's nest. Can I hear what happened?
Um,
I'm not going to involve.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable, actually. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. You're like the only people out on deck.
Yeah, because I'm usually up here if I'm not doing research.
So I will. Before you jump in, I'm going to reply in the only other language I know, which is Elven, and say, "I will leave you be. Have a good night," and then turn back and head back to the captain's quarters
Okay.
for further instruction as the first mate.
All right. What do you guys want to do?
Oh, did I figure out what he said, or?
You speak Draconic?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, in very formal Draconic. The first thing he said was greetings. And the second thing he said was, so this is a rough translation because it's formal, but he refers to himself as this one, and it's kind of like a royal this one, as if he were some sort of high-ranking dragon. He says, "This one does not lower myself to speak," and then again, this would be something in parentheses. It would be the word "your," but it really means the base language of a sub-creature from whom I should have no contact with. So when he says "your," it's like a really racist "your." Your language.
Fair enough.
So, what was specifically our arrangement with the dragon about?
This guy's your tax collector.
Yeah,
But that's it.
He's
That's
here
our
to,
only...
you were told that he's here to make sure your end of the bargain is held up. which is to get the money flowing.
Yes.
Well, we're about to raid a pirate base, so money should be flowing pretty soon.
Hopefully, maybe. We're pretty broke. We some broke
Okay.
mofos.
I just want to make sure that we don't have any, other than paying taxes, we have no real allegiance or requirements with this guy.
Your negotiation, while a number of questions of allegiance were brought up, your negotiation was very straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Money and dragons.
Oh my.
Okay. Then heck with him. He can sit back there and be bored all by himself till we pay him something.
So, what do you want to do?
Which also includes we're not required to feed him.
He's a
We're not
dragon.
required to provide him shelter. He can
He's
manage.
a dragon.
He can
He's a
manage.
dragon.
That's his problem.
He's good.
All right.
I don't
So,
say
as
I
far
can
as you can
Shackles.
tell, no one's actually talked to him.
Can you blame him?
No one's really talked to him, but he seems to have just claimed the back end of the ship behind the wheel, just hanging out on the railing. Occasionally launching himself off to eat like a seagull or something.
Okay. All right.
So,
Commodore, I was going to approach the captain unless
Yeah.
Dom wanted to make some comments to the dragon.
Oh, I'm not making any comments. I'll
Okay.
leave this be, because I want you to stay on my side of religion. You're not crossing over, Adam. I got my eye.
Poop deck is his. Commodore Scourge, do you have any ideas for the upcoming tactics against this illusionist? She was quite formidable in battle, and it cost me my life once. I do not want it to happen again.
This is not an area that I have a great amount of expertise, so I would have to,
Wrap yourselves in cloaks of resistance.
yeah,
Pray.
I think we would have to rely on the expertise of folks that are more knowledgeable in magical arenas. So, beyond the fact that we don't want to get surprised again.
I can always, instead of shooting regularly, ready action to shoot when she's casting.
just to be clear here, Craig, is what you're saying is that Scourge won't get fooled again?
Yep.
All right. I feel like at home you can load up your own musical interlude of rock music if you want to.
Nice.
I just want to recall, though, that in Jade Regent there was a situation where someone said they wouldn't get fooled again, and the very next thing that happened was the exact same party wipe. The episode title is even Won't Get Fooled Again.
Yeah. DRT.
I'm great at naming episodes, by the way. They're always harshly ironic towards the players.
Well,
Painful.
with her tactics, I'm actually thinking about my spell list again.
All right. Well, I think maybe we should have a scene where everybody's in like some sort of war room or like captain's ready room discussing this, rather than just one or two people. Right?
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable.
Let's call the
definitely
officers.
get together. Call the officers.
Let's have a drink and discuss our tactics.
I can always time my shots to shoot when she's trying to cast.
Well,
Does anyone? I wrote it down, but I think I must have wrote over it and deleted it. Does anyone remember the name of the officer from last session who everyone hated?
we didn't hate him. We was like, we don't want you to go to the ship and get murdered.
Yeah, I just can't remember
Frederick?
his name.
No.
Which,
I think it was an S name.
no, I don't have. All I have is Captain Diego Martinez de Salvador.
Yeah, but who was the guy that you wanted to send to his ship as a first officer?
Uh,
That guy. Yeah, that guy. The one everyone hated.
Oh,
I want to say Frederick.
overly helpful, Fred. Yeah.
I want to
Is
say
that what we're
Frederick.
going to call him now? All right. I deleted it, and I actually didn't go back and watch the video, so we're just going to call him Frederick now. Then Mr. Frederick shows up when you call all the officers.
Real go-getter, aren't you?
Is he actually an officer?
He is essentially like a master at arms, kind of. He's like a non-commissioned like chief. It's questionable as to whether or not he should actually be attending.
Yeah, I'm
He just
pretty
shows up.
sure.
So
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
I checked. Does the Callistia priest show up?
She does not. She actually has no standing on your boat. Remember, she's like a contractor.
Yeah, but we still look towards her for guidance.
Well, we would have to ask.
There's
her
a difference between
specifically if we
secular
want-
and non-secular matters, though. I mean,
I get your point, but like, if he's here, why shouldn't she be here?
if she was a cleric of Besmara, it would be different. But
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Hey, that's my religion.
Okay.
Callistia.
We can ask her specifically, and I'll thank Frederick for showing up to watch the door and close the door on his way out.
Guard duty, dog.
all right, yeah. Frederick
there's
is
some-
like, of course,
There's some
Captain.
wyvern poop on the deck that needs to be cleaned.
Yeah, he
I don't
completely
wanna
ignores you,
humiliate
Alaris.
I
Yeah,
don't
you're
wanna
like, there's
humiliate
wyvern poop that
Clancy,
needs to be cleaned. He's like, of course, first mate. I will dispatch someone at once to clean it up.
Yes, thank you. Not hardly.
Then he like takes a patrol position outside the door and then like shuts it.
Okay. Good.
He is not listening. I don't know what he's doing, but he is definitely not listening.
We can make sure of that if we want, but I'm not too worried about it. I just don't want him in here trying to interject. Has no business.
Can everyone
right.
make a perception check real quick?
maybe.
Yay.
Agrzag. You actually see a little puff of like gas coming from the outside porthole from like above it.
What?
Yeah, like a little wisp of smoke.
Like a wyvern sticking his head down next to the window.
I look out the porthole and look up.
Yeah, you look up and you're looking directly into the face of Disfotoyunva, your friendly local wyvern, whose face, I should mention, is larger than most of your body. And he's just looking down at you like...
And I say in Aquan, alright mate, you have fun with that. And I slowly go
Yeah,
back
like
in the
you
room
say
and
something
look.
to him, he says, Lo stilla truck he prag.
Oh, what does
And
he?
as he's talking, like, waves of poisonous gas are coming out towards you, but stopping short.
What does
Okay, again, rough translation. He says, is there something you, parentheses, subspecies, human, like humanoid, lesser than I, are needing of me? And me is, of course, like a royal me.
Yeah, royal we.
First of all, native outsider, I take offense to that.
Do you speak Draconic?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I say in Dragonic, I apologize, Royals, such and such. We were just wondering where the smoke was coming from. Our apologies.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So he says back, there is no need for apologies, one who speaks my language and is inferior. Your respect shown to me is so much greater than that of the rest of your ship. Surely you are the one who runs this boat.
I
see a
say,
point of linguistics in all of our features.
I apologize. No, my leader is the great Captain Scourge of such and such high regards, killer of paladins, murderer of such and such. Like, I'm hyping him up hard.
So he says, I must confess, and again, the I is like the royal I. I must confess my ignorance in this particular matter, and he's speaking super sarcastically. But should not the captain, and the captain is something like in quote, so in Draconic, again, Draconic language, he's like, the captain, have introduced himself to one so great as I, as a passenger on his boat?
Unfortunately, the captain does not speak your language.
He says, surely with an officer as skilled and as intelligent as you, who speaks the language of the great dragons, the primary race of this world, they would present themselves in the manner of politeness even of humanoids, as inferior as they are.
Hmm. So, do you wish to have a formal greeting? We thought formal greeting was taken care of when we talked to your father.
He says, my grandfather, and the word he uses for grandfather isn't actually like familial grandfather, it's like the king of island grandfather, like superior.
Ah,
He's like
he's
my
bad.
grandfather. It's like a Asian grandfather, like respectful old one is what it
Okay.
means.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
He
to
says
him.
like grandfather, and there's all it's super long. It's like a 15-word long title that means lots of things at once.
I write it down real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like honored protector of the island, one who guards the stockpiles, respected wise one. And he says, simply because you talk to my grandfather does not mean that impropriety should be allowed to go here. Inferiors should address themselves to their superior in a matter of polite greeting.
Okay.
To answer your question from before, yes, this one does require a formal greeting to your captain. At his own leisure, of course.
I say we will take care of it tomorrow. Well, if the sun will rise.
Okay.
'Cause I
Yeah.
do not
So,
want to greet at
how
night.
is this conversation happening? Because he's still perched on the back of the boat. Is your head like out of the window?
Yeah, I'm kind of just leaning my
Okay.
head out of the window, talking like this.
I think at that point he like gets down and starts like gliding behind the boat, and he's like Tokyo drifting just so that he's constantly right behind the window, and he's like trying to stick his head through it, and he says, "This one does not understand why, if all those who are need to make obeisance to him are present, why they do not bend the knee now and present greetings to this superior beast."
Close the window.